Badder than, sicker than them. Badder than, sicker than them. Dreader than dread, dreader than dread. Yeah, but look at me tell them, say, yo, say what? We rise up on a left them a ball.
Wagwan, it's that guy. Yes, Wagwan, it's that guy. How you doing? Not Locks, Not Nation in the building today. I want to do a little bit of a video here that I am very dreadful to do. This sort of thing hasn't happened since my first set of locks, to be honest. And the shitty thing is, I feel like I've found mold in one of my dreads. And today I want to explore this and show you what I've discovered and work through how I'm going to get rid of it, figure out what it is, and hopefully it's not in any more locks. So it's kind of shitty having to talk about this, but it's part of having dreads. And as you remember, in my old set of dreads, because they were interlocked, they ended up building up residue within the interlocks in my dreads. I'm gonna put this on to separate my hair right now. The dread, and I feel like this mainly comes from water not drying properly in the locks. Essentially, I found this lock here yesterday. Of course, I can't find it now, because I need to make a video on it. I found it, one sec. All right, so what is happening here? Hold on a second. All right, so this is the dread I've been looking at. This dread has a split tail on the end of it here, meaning this was a crochet, this was a crochet, and it joined up into this Congo. What I was looking at actually inside this lock here, noticed it yesterday. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a buildup in my lock. It seems to be only in this little dread right here. And if I open it up, it seems to be all up in this area. It kind of looks like a lint, but there's no way. You scratch it. It kind of like fluffs out. You can all see it down there. Like, that's not good. In my eyes, I feel like that's mold. And I was just hoping it wasn't in all my locks. I've only seen it in this part right here. So a few things about dread mold. It can be removed. I find here that using a shampoo or an apple cider vinegar rinse of some sort won't get it out because it's so caked in there. So what I'm actually doing is using a crochet hook to open up the lock as much as I can, and with my fingers I'm gonna open it up to really get inside of the lock. It might actually damage the lock by doing this, but I can always crochet it back together afterwards. You can see I'm just kind of pulling it. I'm actually just pulling it apart so I can get to this gunk in the middle, and it's not too bad in the middle. But here, now that I've broken up the dread, here's kind of an exploded view of what's going on in there. So it's actually not too much, but it's more than I need. it's more than to my likings of what I need in there. So my plan here to get this out is going to be crochet hook to kind of pull out some of the hair that's in there. I'm gonna pull out the hair in there that's holding on to this fluff and just make sure that there's not really any sealed areas that I could miss. So I'm just gonna open up this dread with the crochet hook here. guess I can show you guys what I'm doing as I'm doing it. All right, so I'm opening it up. I'm just trying to expose all that I see. And honestly, I'm gonna start by just picking it out as much as I can first. More of an exploded view here. Kind of see it there, right? So I always feel that mold is best battled physically inside out, meaning, you know, you kind of do have to bust the dread open to get down to the nitty gritty that's building up in there, and really physically take it out manually, because any sort of formula like apple cider vinegar or like mouthwash, or you know, whatever you're using that you feel like is gonna dissolve mold, I feel like it won't as well. Like, you literally need to do as much as you can to take it out by hand first, and then use your solution to wash the rest out. And the thing is, you know, if you open up a dread and you bust it up like this, you have to crochet hook it back together. You have to use the crochet hook to just mend the dread back together afterwards. So there is quite a bit of gunk here on some of these locks, to be honest. And I'm not too pleased about this. It does happen. I don't know how this happened, because it seems to be only in this one area. But you see the crochet hook helps me unravel the dread and give me access to the area that needs to be picked out here. It doesn't smell. There's no smell to it. So, I mean, it definitely could be a lot worse. Wow, look at this. So at this point, I'm just kind of breaking it out of my hair. I might be losing a lot of hair during this process right now, but kind of see how it's built up down there. I don't like that. I'm gonna pull a lot of it out. I do have a second solution here that I want to try. But I just want to make sure that I can get everything out of this lock and see how far this buildup actually goes in this dread. So I'm hoping it doesn't go further than, you know, where it actually is. I'm actually just gonna pull out. I had to bust open this dread for this. It seemed to have been just in that area. I want to see if it's in the rest of this dread here. So it doesn't look like it. It was just in that tip. So my next step, now that I've kind of opened it up here, got all the fluff out that was there, I have a microfiber towel that you can use for dread sponge, whatever. There's some shit on this one. These things pick up debris everywhere. So microfiber towel, and I have this stuff here, which is Kaleido Silver. I use this on my dog, but it's also a natural remedy, so you can use it on yourself too. And Kaleido Silver is an antifungal property, so spraying this in your hair is gonna help me to kill off anything that may be lingering around. So just gonna give some sprays in there. Take the towel and just kind of rub it in, rub it out. Rub out all the mold that I see. Rub in the Kaleido Silver, because that's gonna kill anything that might be left over. So just breaking apart the dreads here. Taking longer than I had thought. There's a little bit more in there. Just rub, spray, and clean, and you know, you don't have to use Kaleido Silver. I find that mouthwash would work too, because it still has antifungal properties in it, in the blue Listerine. You could use apple cider vinegar with lemon water here. But yeah, I think I pretty much got it all at this point. So it wasn't like too big of an issue to get it out. The hardest part was just breaking the dread apart, because I did lose the formation of that lock that was there. The good news is I did get out that buildup. I don't know if it was mold. I'm just wondering how much further up of the lock it is. I don't want to take apart my whole dread for this stuff. But I need to double check that there is no more anywhere up the dread that's further. I'm just curious at why it seems to be forming on that part that I crocheted versus the rest of my lock that is free-formed. Doesn't seem to have anything in there. I can show you here. I'm opening up the top side of this dread now, and like, doesn't seem to be anything around in the top here. So to me, I feel like I've got it all out. Yeah, and it looks better. So now that I've done all that, you can see how my hair here at the end is kind of just wispy. I have two options here now. I could twist it down, and I can crochet. I could leave it like that. I could crochet this back into a dread simply by moving it between my fingers like this, just pulling everything back together. I feel like this route right here might end up causing more buildup. Decision right now would actually be to just rubber band it back into this other dread beside it, instead of making it back into its own dread with a crochet. You know, so I kind of just crocheted that there. Honestly, I think it's time to just take away this split and form this back up into one dread here like this. Now that, you know, now that that's happened, now that I've just cleaned it out and everything, this dread is probably better off as one. So what I can do about that is a couple things here. I just wrap the other loose hair around the end, kind of making a blunted tip here. I'm just gonna seal this tip with a crochet hook, and I'm gonna put a rubber band on it for a little while until it decides to mend back together itself. Freeform, not so freeform. At this point, it's just cosmetic surgery because I had to get into there. It didn't change anything detrimentally to my dreads by doing this. I feel like I'm more benefited out of this process now because I don't have that gunk in my hair that was just there. Obviously, it's never nice finding mold. It's never nice finding mold or anything like that in your locks, so you don't really want to be able to live with that in there. I'd still have to look around the rest of my dread to see if I got it all out, the rest of my other dreads, but from yesterday I was looking around already and I couldn't see any other dreads that might have had this issue. So thankful it's only here. And here's the after a quick, I mean, I could sit here and crochet this more, but obviously I feel like less is more with the crochet hook. And this is kind of like how it turned out after I've crocheted it back together. Just gonna throw a couple rubber bands on there real quick, hold on. And of course I will have to be careful with this dread when I'm washing. I have to make sure that I'll dry it out properly because now it is susceptible to buildup since I have rubber bands being put on here. So I'm going to rubber band it. Just gonna throw a rubber band on there. Kind of keep it sealed for a little bit. And that's that. So that will probably end up sealing over the next few weeks. I'll take the rubber band back out. And I'm just gonna use the crochet hook here to seal it up a little bit more once again. So at the end of the day, it did change the shape of my dreadlock a little bit. I went from having a 2-end split to now a sealed end, but I did get this so-called mildew out of my lock, which is surprising to me because, you know, I thought I wouldn't have been as susceptible to getting mildew having freeform dreads. And it wasn't even in the freeform part of my locks, it was in the manipulated part. So that also raises another question to me: is it more susceptible to getting dreads in somewhere that you've manipulated versus something that's freeformed? But anyways, looking good. I'm done with this crochet hook. And we can see here now that this is the dread after I fixed it, after I've taken the mold out. And it's just going to now stay here like this. You can also do some palm rolling to it to help it form together. The rubber band will come out in a couple weeks. But essentially now that's the lock. So not too bad of a little transformation there to save myself from that mildew getting worse, changing colors, you know, changing smell or some sort like that. Come on. Yeah, there it is. So let me know what you think. This is the amount of hair that I actually got out of my dread just now. And if you look at the hair, you can kind of see like the gray kind of stuff that I pulled. Oh, you can kind of see the gray stuff that kind of came out with it. You know? Pretty gnarly looking stuff. So I'm happy that it's not anything too bad. I'm gonna actually put it under a microscope. Try and see the terpenes of this shit here real quick. And see what I can discover. I got this microscope for my weed here. It kind of just looks like hair. So the color of it is actually kind of gray. It's not green or anything. It looks very dusty, and compared to my hair, oh, there's a red strand in there, so it does look like there's some lint. But compared to my hair, it's actually a very different texture than my hair. It's more of a lighter fluff. So, you know, my bet is that it is a mold. Oddly enough. I mean, what else could it really be? You know, but it's not the same type of mold that you would find on like bread or anything like that. It's more of like a grayish, fluffy type of mold. It's very weird. Anyways, what won't kill me will make me stronger. And yeah, that's quite the interesting specimen here. Should keep this as evidence. Evidence of the dread mold. So yeah, that's my video, and I'm gonna end it off by just spraying a little more Kaleido silver water in there. Just gonna work that in, just to kill anything that might be left over. That is it. So So yeah, I appreciate you guys stopping by this channel to deal with this dilemma here with me today. It's not every day I have to deal with something like this. It's been actually a very long time since I had to deal with something like this. So it's not a big deal. I'm not worried. No one needs to be worried. I just thought I would share this experience here with you. And now I don't have that split anymore on this lock. Now it's singled up. Two became one, all in the name of saving a dread. So if you have any comments or questions about this procedure that I just did on my locks, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Smash that like button if you're new to this channel. This is Not Nation, where we talk about dreadlock related stuff on a daily basis. So until next time, I guess I'll see you guys around. So peace out, one love, stay happy and natty, and I'll see you in the next dreadlock video. I'm gone. Adios.
Madder than, sicker than them. Madder than, sicker than them. Dreader than dread, dreader than dread. Yeah, but look at me tell them say, yo, say what? We rise up on a left, them